Yeah, so this segment, this is the one that goes up on the social medias. Yeah, this is the one that, because it's sponsored by Joey Books. Oh, you're already recording? All right, this segment of the Mike Stigs Show is sponsored by Joey Books. If you want to get your bet in for the Super Bowl, you live in Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, you go into a pizza place and just say, is Joey Books here? If they know what you mean, if you say, if Joey Books here, and they go, no, he's not here right now, or he was just here, then you know that this is one of the places that is a Joey Books joint where you could book your Super Bowl bet on, the Eagles or Kansas City, whoever you think's going to win. But you just say, is Joey Books here? And they'll know. If they go, who? Who's Joey Books? Then you know it's not a Joey Books place. So you just say, is Joey Books here? Or, I'm looking for Joey Books. If it's one of his places, and he has a lot of them in Brooklyn, Queens. I don't know if he has a lot of places in Staten Island. But if you're in Staten Island, just come over to Verrazano Bridge. Go to Bensonhurst. There's a couple pizza places over there. And then, just say, is this Joey Books place? Or I'm looking for Joey Books, or is Joey Books here? Then you know it's his place if they know what you're talking about. If they're like, who are you talking about? Who's Joey Books? Forget about it. Don't do the bet, because then it's not one of his places. So anyway, this segment of the Mike Stigs Show, sponsored by Joey Books. Get your bet in for the Super Bowl. That's this Sunday. I'll be at the Golden Knights game, and then I got an appearance to do, I think. Do I have an appearance on this? Yeah, I do, right? Okay. But they're not sponsored, so I ain't putting it out there. I'm not putting it out on this segment anyway. Yeah, because this is Joey Books' segment. He paid the $2. That's the thing. I don't do this for free. So, if you want to pay, you want to sponsor your business, I don't care if it's legal or illegal, I'll do it. You pay me, I'll do a segment during the Mike Stigs Show, and I'll just, put it. If you pay on this segment, which is $200, you get 10 to 15 minutes of the segment of the show. And this goes on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and what's that other one that I do? I didn't do it yet, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, so this segment is a social media segment. So if you're tuning in right now on social media, you're like, what is he talking about? Yeah, this show started about 30 minutes ago, but this segment is paid for, and this segment is paid for to get on social media. So that's why this part of the show will be posted. And that's what we're doing. 200 gets you a 10 to 15 minute segment. And then after we finish recording this, you got to get with Van and see, or I'll contact Van, and maybe we'll put the whole show up on that San Diego radio station. The Mike Stigs Show, this is what this is. So, so Juan was telling me the other day, he's like, I see you doing a lot of comedy recently. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm testing out a lot of stuff because we might do that show, The Smashers of Comedy. And then, so I've been testing out a lot of new material. The new material is killing. It is rocking the house. And I'm testing it out at some hard places. I'm not going to no easy comedy clubs and, the place is already packed. I'm going to hard rooms to try out new stuff. Because when me, Germano, Keith, and John had a comedy club, the High Rollers of Comedy Club, it was the hardest room. I called it the Room of Doom. Every laugh that you got in that place was earned. So that's why I found a couple hard rooms to work out stuff, and I know if this new material works in those rooms, it's pretty much going to work everywhere. So that's why I'm testing out at some really hard places. And then, so like I told Juan, I was like, yeah, so my Wednesday's free, so now I can sleep in, which is good because I don't have to do that other thing. And then I took dance lessons. I met the Grand Prix champion of ballroom dancing, and I was just like, yo, you got to show me how to do this stuff, because I was supposed to learn this. Janelle was going to teach me, and then she's like, just come out to L.A. and I'll teach you, and I'm like, what am I going to drive to L.A. every week? And then, so then I bumped into this Grand Prix champion, Morgan, and then I was just like, yeah, I want to learn how to do this stuff. Anytime you have an opportunity to learn something, you do, especially if you're doing comedy or if you're doing, radio or a podcast, you need something to talk about. And then, and that's the thing. So that's how I wake up late on Wednesday. I go to breakfast. I hit the gym. I go to my dance lesson, right? And then I prepare whatever new stuff I'm gonna do on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the following Wednesday coming up, I think it's just gonna be a writing session with me and the comedian I manage. So that's what's going on. Because Juan's like, yeah, I'm seeing you're going out a lot doing comedy, which is good. But the funny thing about the dance stuff, she's saying that she's going to do a fundraiser. And I was like, well, if you need a comedian, I'll do it. She's like, as long as you do only dance jokes. I said, I got one dance joke. And so I was just like, yeah, I don't know if I could do that. So yesterday on the way to the comedy show, driving, 20, 30 minutes to go to the place, and I was like, you know what? I know I could write 5-10 minutes easy of dance stuff. Because I had to learn a bunch of steps and stuff and twists and turns and then how I was preparing for 2 weeks to start doing this dance stuff. I could write a whole 5-10 minutes of that. So then I was just like, you know what? I got to the comedy show, and I was just like, I just texted her. I was like, yo, you win. I'll do a whole set of dance jokes. Figuring she was gonna text back probably today or Friday. And she texts back an hour later. Perfect. Awesome. That's great. All right. But we don't know what the date is yet. I was like, perfect. That gives me enough time to write. So I figured maybe it was going to be in a week or two. But obviously it's not in a week or two, because she would have had the date. So then I would be like, boom, let me start writing it right now. So I'm going to start writing that tomorrow morning, which is actually today, because I don't know when we're going to post this tomorrow, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's what's going down. So, like I said, I'm gonna write this segment of dance jokes, and then I'm gonna go try it at a comedy show. Because if it's gonna work at a comedy show in front of non-dance people, then I know when I do the fundraiser, it's gonna work. That's how you gotta do it. Anytime you got opportunity, you always gotta take the opportunity, or you're gonna sit there and be like, when I was in the hospital dying of sepsis, I was like. That's when I was like, I'm going to do a lot more YouTube stuff, but I was just like, whatever, I got to do something. Whatever you feel like doing, you can't wait for the perfect time. Because if the opportunity comes and you're like, you know what, it's not the perfect time for me to do it, you're never going to do it. So I had an opportunity to do this a couple of years ago with Janelle before she moved to LA, because she was working at, I think, Striptease is where she was dancing. And then I did a variety show, and that's where I met her. And then I was just like, hey, can you teach me how to pole dance? I was just doing it as a joke. And she's like, you want to learn to dance? I'll show you how to dance. But then she moved to LA. And then I hit her up, I don't know, November, December. I was like, hey, I want to learn how to dance. And she's like, come out to LA. So that's where I'm at. And then I meet a local champion who's really good. So I was just like, yo, I want to learn how to dance. She's like, serious? I was like, yeah, serious. She's like, all right, I'll teach you. Boom, that's how it's done. I said, all right, when do you want to do it? I said, I'm off on Wednesday. She said, Wednesday's perfect. So that's how this works out. If you got an opportunity, do it. Especially if you're doing comedy and radio or podcasts or whatever you're doing. because you need stuff to talk about. That's the thing. Saturday, my friend Lester came to the comedy show. There was, 25 or 30 comedians. There was so many. And then he's like, out of everybody was you, your comedian you managed, Naomi Starr, and Dennis, the host, Jeff Garcia, Gator. You five were really good. And the other people all had like the same kind of material. So it seemed like, there's 25 people doing the same subject. It doesn't look good when there's 25 people doing it. If one or two are doing it, you're talking about two subjects and everybody's talking about it. It's burnt out. That's why the stuff I do, nobody talks about. If I go on the show, you're not going to hear that material out of someone else that night. So that's the thing. You got to get material, you got to do more things. You want more material, you got to do more things. So I told my friends. First, I went down with all the girls I'm friends with, and I was like, I'm going to take dance lessons. And they're like, oh, that's great. You should do it, definitely. All right, so I was like, okay. I knew the girls were going to be about. Then I ran it by my guy friends, my 20 guy friends. Every single one. I was waiting for someone to be like, what are you, gay? Or some shit like that. And all of them were like, yeah, definitely do that. And they're always like, what'd she look like? That's the guys. The guys are like, what'd she look like? But, so that's how it is. But all my friends totally on board. That's the thing, because I'm an alpha male. You're not going to be like, they're not going to run that shit by me because they're like, what are you going to do that for? Are you going to wear tights or something? But that's how it works out. So I ran it by the girls first, then I ran it by my guy friends. Everybody's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Because they know I'm gonna be talking about this, and it's going to be funny. No matter what I do, if I do the fundraiser or whatever, they know they're going to go to a comedy show, and I'm going to start talking about dancing. And then they know it's going to be crazy, because that's what I do. Because that's what I'm good at, just making funny stuff out of everything. So this segment, remember, this segment is sponsored by Joey Books. Joey Books, going to any pizza place in Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island. I don't know if it's all of Long Island. He didn't tell me that now. There's two counties in Long Island. There's Suffolk County, and then there's the other county. I don't know. Suffolk and Essex? I don't know. Maybe that's New Jersey. I don't know. Let's go to the first part of Long Island. Strong Island, Staten Island. Just get over to Brooklyn and I don't know. Just say, is this Joey Book's place? So this is what you get. You get 10 to 15 minutes. You get 10 to 15 minutes on the segment. This segment cost you $200. It's going to be a good segment. No matter what I talk about, it's going to be entertaining. You don't have to play the music now. We still got time. All right, so that's going to be entertaining. You don't know what I'm going to talk. I don't know what I was going to talk about. I didn't know I was going to mention the dancing thing on this, because this is the part that's getting posted up on social media. But, that's the way it is. It's going to be a good segment no matter what I talk about. So 200 gets you Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, your sister's ass. I don't know. That's the way it goes right there. So it's worth the 200, because you don't know if this goes viral. That's the thing. You're giving me 200. Either 5 people watch it, right? Or 2,000 people watch it, or 100,000 people watch. I got one video with over 300,000 views. I got one video with 10 or 12 views. You don't know how it's gonna hit. So it's a gamble. You put out the 200. I shout out Joey Books. Go into any pizza place, say, is this Joey Books' place? Is Joey Books here? If they know what you're talking about, then you know. And you get your bet in. All right, Super Bowl Sunday, you got the Eagles, you got the Chiefs. The way it's going down, it's like all the girls want Mahomes to win. And then the guys are like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know, Eagles or Kansas City, whatever it is. But I'll put out on one of my social medias the bets I do. I went 4-0 last year in the Super Bowl. I always do good on the Super Bowl. Like today I had the Devils. I had Florida Panthers. I had Edmonton. Edmonton lost. Golden Knights won 5-1. I'll be at the Golden Knights game Sunday. And I don't know, this should be about 15 minutes. So I'm going to end this segment now because if I go into overtime, then he gets free press. Joey Books, make sure you get your bets in. Anybody want to shout out their business and sponsor the segment? $200. $200 gets you 10 to 15 minute segment of professional talk. There's no stuttering. I don't have people interrupting or anything. It's straight up Mike Stigs. Stig it. The Mike Stigs Show. This is what you listen